Hey y'all, Rajava the Ruler, back with another one. If you are new here, welcome to my channel. Stay a while. I hope you enjoy. And if you are not new here, I consider y'all my A1 day ones. And I appreciate the love and the support, how y'all show up for your girl and show out every single time. It does not go unnoticed because without y'all, I would not be able to continue to get on here in front of this camera and post my dirty laundry on the internet if it wasn't for y'all supporting me and showing me so much love and rooting for me. So I really do appreciate it. My name is Rajava the Ruler, because we rule over here. We don't rule over other people, but we rule over our life and our destiny, and we enlarge our territory over here. Okay, I did 8.5 years off of 10 years in the Department of Corrections for trafficking and cocaine in the state of Florida. Now, first off, don't judge me, because I broke both of these nails. Those are the only ones I broke, like the thumbs. It's kind of convenient having short thumbs, but it's tacky at the same time. Because both of my thumbs, I broke this one the day after I got it done. So I was in my Say Cheese interview with this thumb, and I was trying to like hide it, because it's like, I can't be out there with a broke nail, like. And then I broke this one 2 days after that. So these nails aren't even a week old. And they're broken, so, or a little over a week, and they're broken. So I will take them off after this video, but I didn't want to be nubby on this video. So don't judge me if you see my thumbs. I know, I'm sad about it. But let's get into it. I decided to get on here and talk about my last two videos. Y'all know which ones I'm talking about. The one with the title, The Relationship That Sent Me to Prison, Part 1, Part 2. Now, disclaimer before we get into it, I don't have a Telegram. I keep seeing people in my comments talking about hit me up on Telegram. They got my profile picture. They got my name. I've tried to block that page. I've tried to report that page. No matter how many times I block them, they still end up in my comment section. So I don't know if they keep making new pages or what they do. And I've been meaning to get on here and post it video before video before video. But I click record and I get sidetracked. Like, I can't really multitask, so my brain functions in one dimension at a time. But I do not have a Telegram. So if someone hits you up and says that they're me, they are not me. If you see it in the comment section, report it. Report it. And if they ask you for money, don't give it to them. They scamming out here. They trying to take your hard-earned money, sis. It's not me. I wouldn't do you like that. Like, I'm not trying to sell y'all nothing. Now, at some point, I will have a product in my hand that belongs to me, and I'll be like, you know, support your girl. But I ain't gonna just ask for no money. So that's not me. Don't believe them. The only time I respond or I would reach out or I would conversate with you like that is if you DM me on Instagram. Now my Instagram that's linked in my intro, that is me. So if you hit that and DM me and I start talking, that is me, okay? That is me, but that Telegram is not me. So let's get into it. Okay. So first off, like, let's get into the makeup. Like, your girl is getting better. Y'all see that? We getting there, cause honey, at first I was struggling. I looked at like, I don't even know what I looked at like. I looked at like I needed to stop playing when I was putting on makeup, but I'm getting a little better, you know, check me out. I'm excited about it because it makes me feel like a girl. But let's go on to that video. So let's do a follow-up, and I just want to chit chat with y'all because I want us to be on the same page. And if we can't get on the same page, that's completely fine. Like, that's completely fine if we can't be on the same page, but can we at least be in the same chapter or at least in the same book? Like, you know, like, I want us to be on one accord some kind of way. So the first thing we're gonna talk about is how upsetting it was for me to say it had nothing to do with me. I feel like it had nothing to do with me. It ain't have nothing to do with me. I still feel like that. I will continue to try to think about it from different angles because I am a fan of combating your own opinion, because just because you feel that way wholeheartedly does not make you right. Okay, and that goes for you, that goes for me. So just because I feel that way, I know that don't make me right just because I feel that way or I think that. So I will continue to combat that from different sides. But at this moment, I still feel like it had nothing to do with me. But we will revisit that. And if I do eventually change my mind, I don't care if it's a year down the line, I will get back on here and be like, y'all I probably was wrong, but at this point in time, I still feel like it has nothing to do with me. Like the fact that he was selling drugs, I feel like had nothing to do with me. Now, me being around him, me knowing he sells drugs and all of that, that had something to do with me, but the transactions of him moving, I feel like it had nothing to do with me. I didn't know who he was giving it to, where he was getting it from, how much it cost. I had never touched it. I didn't know how to weigh it, break it. I feel like it had nothing to do with me. I still feel like that. And then let's move on to the playing victim. Now that one right there, the people that was telling me I was playing victim, I was like, hold up. I had to go back and watch my video because I was like, let me go watch these before I be trying to get on here and be loud and wrong. So I'm like, listen, I'm watching the videos like this, like tuned in. I got the volume all the way up. And I'm just like study watching because people see stuff that you don't see sometimes. So I'm just like, where's that? Like, girl, because we need to edit this video, take it down or do something. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I don't feel like a victim. I didn't feel like a victim then. I didn't blame him for me going to prison. I blame that relationship. The relationship sent me to prison. It did, because that relationship, had I never met him or been involved, I wouldn't have went to prison. So I blame that relationship. But I can't blame him. He had self-preservation skills. He had the mindset like, when it go down, it's gonna be you, not me. He had that, okay? And even when I was introduced that he had that, I could have been like, oh, okay, bet. And I could have got on the stands, testify, and went home. And also, he was using me. I was young, like all of that stuff. So he's like, okay, you know, he using me because I'm young. And I was using him as an ATM. I was using him for his money. And I said that throughout the video. I told you I had no interest until he started giving me money. I ain't hide that. I didn't try to make it seem like, oh, I loved him so much and he just took advantage of me. No, he took advantage of the fact that I was ignorant to the system. That he did, but I was using him and he was using me. So I can't blame somebody when my motives and intentions from the beginning was not pure. I didn't see a life with this man. I didn't see a future. I didn't see like red roses and hearts and stuff. I seen an ATM. I used him for his money. I did not work. I did not have a job. Every time I needed something, my hand was like this. So I can't blame him, because I knew I was doing wrong and I continued to do wrong. And then that's what I got, because you reap what you sow. Whether you feel like you're supposed to reap it this kind of way or that kind of way, you reap what you sow. And I told y'all I fought a lot. I was a very nasty person. I was negative. I was all of that. So I reaped what I sowed. Now, I don't feel like I should have reaped it like that because I didn't sell drugs. I've never trafficked cocaine. And that's what I went to prison for. But God didn't say you're going to get it how you expect to get it. Okay, you're going to get it one way or the other. And most times, honestly, when you reap your karma, you be in the right. Like, a lot of times you be innocent to the fact you had no ill intentions. And that's when you reap your karma. It just happens like that. So I don't blame him. He had self-preservation skills. I mean, I can't do nothing but respect it. I don't blame him. I blame that relationship. I blame the fact that I even knew him or was involved with him. And then another part where it was like, you were 18, you weren't a child. I don't remember saying I was a child in that video. I was 18 when I met him. Now, I don't care what nobody say. There is not a person in creation, 30 or above, that can seriously say that right now they got the same sense God gave them as they had at 18. It's just not possible. Like, it is not possible. There's even like stipulations in the laws of certain crimes under like an age, I think it's like 24. You're considered a youthful offender. You ain't, you definitely legal at 24, but you're still considered a youthful offender. And it's certain guidelines they have to go through when it comes to sentencing, because in the system, in the eyes of the law, you can't make a conscious decision until you're about 25. And not saying that you don't know what you're doing, because you know what you're doing, but it says that your brain doesn't mature to the point where you can understand how the decision you're making will affect you in the long run. You 100% know you robbing, shooting, killing, stealing. You know you're doing that, but they feel that you cannot make a conscious decision because you don't understand how it can affect your life. Because when you're young, you feel like that happens to everybody but me. Like, that could never happen to me. So I was not a child. I was of age. I could have went in the store and bought me some cigarettes, some Black and Miles, some blunts, you know, any tobacco product. I could not go buy no Four Loko. But I could have went in the store and bought tobacco. So I was grown. I was telling people I was grown. Like, people try to tell you what to do. It's like, oh, I'm grown. Like, you can't tell me what to do. Like, I'm grown now. Like, you can't wait to tell people you're grown. But I was dumb. I was not a child, but I was dumb. And it was because of lack of experience. It was because of the fact that I didn't understand how much your decisions can affect you in the long run. You don't understand that as a child. So I'm not saying that I was a baby. I just was young enough not to know any better. Did not understand. I was so ignorant to the system. So ignorant to the system. I really thought the system was where you commit a crime, you go to jail. You don't commit a crime, you don't go to jail. When I was out there fighting, I knew I could go to jail for fighting. So when I seen the police, I ran. You know, so when I fought people that I thought was gonna call the police, I ain't fight them because it's like, oh, she gonna call the police, so I'm gonna go to jail. Because I was committing a crime. That's how I felt. You commit a crime, you go to jail. If you don't commit a crime, you don't go to jail. I thought it was black and white. It ain't. The law is gray. It ain't black and it ain't white. It's gray because each situation depends on something else. So I don't blame him. I don't blame being a child. I don't blame any of that. It's just the way that each step of my life orchestrated and led up to that situation. It was a lot of things that led up to that situation. Even before that relationships, like from a child, the way I was influenced by my environment, my way of processing stuff, my development skills, like my cognitive thinking, like all of that leads up to the grand finale, no matter what it is for anybody. So the whole playing the victim, I don't feel like I was a victim. Now, I do feel like I ain't have all the information, but that's not nobody's fault. I don't blame that on nobody. I don't even blame that on myself now, but I used to. Out of all the time I was locked up, it took me the longest to forgive me. It took me the longest to forgive me. I hated myself more than I hated anybody. I blamed myself more than I blamed anybody. Now, I held a lot of resentment and negative feelings and emotions towards a lot of people, but it was nothing compared to what I held against myself, okay? So, victim, the only victim I was my feelings and how I was taking it out on my feelings. My feelings was the victim because I didn't have no sympathy for myself. Like, at certain points when I was incarcerated, I felt like I deserved it. Like, when I felt miserable or when I was going through it or I was at a low point, I was like, you deserve it because, look, you the reason you here. Never blame my co-defendant. Can't do nothing but respect it. It was him or me, and he picked it to be me. And he did it plain as day. It ain't like he, waited till he got behind the doors or around the corner and was like, okay, so this is what happened. He did it right there in front of me, in front of the police. So I don't blame him for that. Like, I ain't got nothing for you, bro, but I don't blame him for it. So the fact that people said I played the victim, like, I don't understand how. I just tell y'all, like, what happened, like, what I was thinking, like, how I felt about it. I'm just walking y'all through the story from my point of view. So it may seem like you may get that from certain points, but I'm just telling you how naive I was, how I felt, like what I was thinking. But I did not feel like a victim. Like, honestly, before I went to prison, I felt like I knew everything. I knew better. Nobody couldn't tell me nothing. I was not even susceptible to people's opinions or advice. No one could give me advice or an opinion. So I definitely could not feel like the victim because I felt like I was in control of my life. So that's not the case. What's next? There was a lot of stuff. Some people asked about how much time he got. He got 13 years on a violation of probation. He is out now, I think. I know he got out last year. These years just be rolling together. I think he got out last year and he ended up going back. I don't know if he's out. I think he's out now. He ended up going back to jail. But I think he's out. I don't know if he's out. What else? Why I didn't tell on him? I couldn't. It was not because I was in danger. Most of the people who knew me, like, from the hood that I was from, they were like, girl, tell on them. Like, you better tell. Like, you better tell. Everybody was in favor of me telling on him. Everybody was in favor. Probably not his family, like, probably not them. But everybody else was like, tell on him. So I wasn't worried about people judging me. That's not why I didn't tell. It wasn't because of love, because I treated him like an ATM. I don't know how much connection y'all have to an ATM, but I didn't have much. I wasn't in fear of my life, especially the fact that he went to prison. So like, we got arrested November 7, 2010. He was on his way. He couldn't get out. I told y'all he couldn't get out. He was on a VLP, and he went to prison. He was gone by like January 5th. So it wasn't because I was in fear of my life. He was incarcerated. What you gonna do behind bars? Like, it was just because I couldn't. Like, I couldn't. I did not think I was going to prison. I didn't. So it's not like I couldn't, and then I was like, yeah, send me to prison, because I can't tell on him, and I want to go to prison. I couldn't stomach it. I could not bring myself to be the reason somebody take an L. Like, that is just one of the things that I feel strongly on. And it may be stupid to a lot of people. It may be foolish. I can't explain it to you. But I am not okay with taking a W with the expense of somebody taking an L, especially not an L that big. Now, if it's in a regular fight, fist fight, you know, I win, you lose, I'm fine with that. Or if we go up for the same job, I win, you lose, I'm fine with that, because it ain't my fault you lost. You know what I'm saying? May the best man win. But to actually be the reason somebody, like, to intentionally be the reason somebody take an L, I can't do it. Stranger, like somebody I don't like, somebody I do like, I just can't. I could not get on the stand and tell on him. It had nothing to do with no code, because wasn't no code with me in prison when I went through all that I went through. It ain't no code. It ain't no, oh, snitches get stitches, because I wasn't worried about getting stitches. Like, I just have no respect for, I don't have no respect for it, because I knew what I was putting myself in. So it's like, even though he was the one selling the drugs, and I still feel like it had nothing to do with me, I involved myself in that situation. So I'm not finna now be like, oh, you know, I felt like I was grown and taking his money, and I knew what kind of man he was. So it's like, now that something's going the way I don't want it to, I'm just gonna tell. Like, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, and I didn't feel like I was going to prison, because I still feel like it had nothing to do with me. Even the head of the task force, when they interrogated me and tried to get me to tell on him, he told me that he knew I had nothing to do with it. My name was not in my discovery. Nowhere, except at the top when they booked me in and they took my fingerprints and then they put my name at the top. None of the paperwork, when you flip through, it don't have my name nowhere in that discovery. At the end, on the police report, when they booked us in, it says black female was driving. They didn't know if I gave him a ride that one time and took him, or if I've been giving him rides for 50 years. Like, you know how you see on the movies and stuff, and they have like the board, and they got like the drug dealers, like the hitters, the shooters, like they got everybody just like mapped out with like lines and names and pictures and all of that. So to speak, I was nowhere on that board. They didn't know who I was. I was not on that board. My picture was not, and I'm sure they was investigating him. My picture was nowhere on that board. He got arrested. That was his 4th time. Mind you, I told y'all he got out of prison in February of 2010. When we got arrested in November of 2010, and that's what, 9 months? That was his 4th time being arrested for something. One of the times he was driving, suspended license, reckless driving and all that, because I told you he didn't have a license. That was one of the times he got arrested. Another time he got arrested, he pistol whipped somebody with a gun. That's what he was on probation for. That was the time before we got arrested. And then the other time he got arrested because he set a girl's house on fire with her in it. So, like, I was nowhere on none of this paperwork. They didn't care nothing about me. They just wanted him. And because I didn't assist them, like, they was standing at the 3-point line open, and I ain't hit them with the assist. I took my own shot. They was mad. So I didn't feel like I was going to prison, because I felt like I ain't have nothing to do with it. So I did feel like I was going home. Now, I did not go, but we're going to talk about my trial and everything that I went through in another video, because I could have went home. I should have went home, but I didn't. Went to prison. And honestly, like, you know how they say stuff happens for a reason, everything happens for a reason? That used to piss me off when I was in prison. When people used to say that, they used to really piss me off. And they used to say everything happens for a reason, because it's like, ain't no way this a reason. But honestly, now looking back, the way I feel on the inside is so beautiful. Like, the happiness, the peace that I have, and like everything that's God's doing for me, and like the way he's changed and transformed me, I knew it was meant for me to go to prison. That's why no matter how much I wanted to go home, and no matter how much they had to stack the deck, because they kept stacking the deck against me. It ain't like they shuffled and stacked it one time. They stacked the deck against me every step of the way. They kept throwing a loophole in it. Like, they kept they violated my rights so many times. They violated my constitutional rights so many times, and it was meant for me to go to prison, because prison, me going to prison and going through that and allowing God to do the work that he's done in me, definitely, like, I wish I didn't go to prison. But if I could go back and they're like, well, you won't go to prison, but you don't get all the knowledge, and really, I don't know if I would say, take me back and I'll undo it, because my life would not be where it is on the inside. I'm not talking about materials, like opportunities. I'm talking about on the inside, because I'd rather have peace on the inside here and here than to have it anywhere else. Any money, anything. I'm not led by money. A man cannot impress me with money, okay? Sir, you can have all the money in the world. Money ruined my life. It ain't gonna ruin my life twice. So I don't believe in a man as a paycheck. I don't believe a man like, oh, I'm supposed to use you, you're supposed to provide. I have to take care of me. So I have to take care of me. I have to. So that's gonna be something I'm gonna have to learn down the line, to let somebody else take care of me. But as of right now, no, I don't need no money. Like, just you know, treat me right. That's all that matters, because I have to take care of me. Like, for the love of money is the root of all evil, and I ain't trying to deal with that type of evil no more. And let's see what else. I think that's all. I feel like I'm talking too much and this video is long, but y'all told me to stop doing a part 2, so I'm not gonna do a part 2. I'm trying to make sure I get everything out. I think that's everything. If I there was a few points I meant to touch on, but those are the only ones I remember off the top of my head. Y'all see my thumb? So thumbs up. You see, your girl is getting better with makeup, because it's like, ain't all that now. I know some people who can slay, but you know, your girl getting I ain't even feel like I need to put on no lashes. Like, I was on the phone with my niece and she's like, you're so beautiful. And I was like, girl, thank you. Like, thank you. But that is all that I have for you guys. It has been a pleasure. I hope that you have an awesome and amazing weekend, and that you get everything your heart desires. Toodles.